Coming off an emotional win over Colorado, the Nebraska Cornhuskers entered Memorial Stadium for another night game 6 days ago, facing the Northern Iowa Panthers. While some media and fans worried about a letdown against the FCS foe, the Big Red put those fears to rest early in the contest.
Trips go right, one wide out to the near side. Emmett's the back, snap back to Raiola, looking, holding, throws over the middle, down the middle, pass caught. That's going to be a Nebraska touchdown. Isaiah Nair finds the end zone on a pass over the middle. 13-3 Big Red. Tight formation, turn, toss it off to a little end around by Barney. He's at the 10-5, touchdown Nebraska. Ja'Cory Barney slips in there, taking the pitch on the end around from 10 yards out. Nebraska stretches the lead to 20-3.
The Huskers were efficient on offense and used a bend, don't break approach on defense to polish off a 34-3 victory and improve to 3-0 on the season. The Huskers now turn their attention to a matchup with Illinois. In addition to being a clash of ranked teams, tonight will also be headlined by Nebraska's 400th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium. Throughout the streak, NU has created memorable moments in the milestone games.
We're set to go. 200 straight sellouts. And Colorado ready to kick it off. It's over. Nebraska sends the Buffies packing back to Boulder. Nebraska 24, Colorado 7.
The Huskers return home tonight for the school's 300th straight sellout. It's Nebraska and Louisiana Lafayette.
Mason in the shotgun. Gets the snap. Big blitz. Throws. Pass. Intercepted. Picked off by Asante to the 40, 50. Asante streaking down the field. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Yeah, that just shows how loyal Nebraska fans are. And it's going to be really great to go out there. I know the fans are going to be loud and everything, but we just got to go out there and play Nebraska football and get a win for the 400th.
The fans here, you know, there's like I know they say there's no better place, but I mean, I really believe that. But just to be able to play in front of these people who pour their heart and soul into us and, you know, just want us to win so badly and just, you know, be good, I think it's just awesome to be able to go out there and represent.
In today's era of college football, to still have a fan base that will, no matter what, come out and support you every single week for 6 to 7 Saturdays a fall, to give up that time to come out and watch the boys in red play, it can't be overstated. And it's just such a special place, it's such a special thing, and you just can't overstate how much it means to this state and to the players on the field.
We do what we do. I do it for the players first, but I do it for the fans and people second. I want them to be proud of what they see. You know, we might not win every game, but we can certainly play in a way that respects and honors the work ethic of the people that came before us and the people that are in the stadium.
Both Nebraska and Illinois entered tonight's matchup on a short week of rest, but the Huskers maintain their focus throughout preparation.
Nothing really changes for our program on who we play. It's the same process, so Coach Rule's done a great job of making us understand that, and everyone's bought into it. And yeah, we're just going to attack it as we usually would.
Our goal is to go 1-0 every week, and so this is a great opportunity. It's our first league game, but to me, it's just, hey, now we're entering Big Ten play, so our approach doesn't change, but just the gravity of the situation is a little bit different.
Live from the Huskers Radio Network, this is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. Husker Game Day is also brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Now, here's your host, Ben McLaughlin.
It's Friday football at Memorial Stadium, Nebraska and Illinois. The Cornhuskers undefeated, and their first conference game here tonight at Memorial Stadium against Brett Bielema's Illinois Fighting Illini, also ranked. A battle of ranked teams here tonight on a Friday night. Unusual to have a home Friday night game here in Lincoln, but that's what's in front of us here tonight. This is the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Ben McLaughlin joined, as always, by Husker color analyst Damon Benning. Huskers coming off a impressive and dominant win over the Northern Iowa Panthers, and now turn their attention to the Big Ten slate. As Coach Rule says, the preseason is over, and now we are in to the Big Ten slate. It's a bit unusual to start this late for the conference matchups for Nebraska. In recent years, it's been game one right out of the chute. So now that we're officially in the fourth week of the season, we're going to turn our page to Big Ten Conference play. We appreciate everybody that's joined us, and welcome to another edition of our Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show here on the Huskers Radio Network, headed to a 7 o'clock kick here just over our shoulders at glorious Memorial Stadium. Before we jump into our show here tonight, need to pass along some news for those that haven't heard already. So for those that are aware and have been following along, Greg Sharp's, our fearless leader, Greg Sharp's fight with cancer since the end of March and early April. Wasn't that long ago that we opened the season in these chairs talking about his fight to get to a point where he could call games. Unfortunately, will not be in the booth with us here tonight. Minor speed bump in his treatment plan. So that's going to take him off the shelf here tonight. So it'll be a bit strange not having Sharpie with us here tonight, but you better believe is in our thoughts and in our prayers. So I had a great conversation with Greg this morning. He's in good spirits, and he hopes to be back as soon as humanly possible as he continues his treatment in his fight with cancer. But he's in good spirits. He's really disappointed he couldn't be at the game tonight. We're all disappointed to not have him with us, but you better believe he's going to do everything he can to get back into this booth as soon as humanly possible. But he's in good spirits, and let's hope we're making progress to his return very, very soon. So for those that have not heard, Greg will be out with us tonight, and Bill Dolman will be in the chair in Greg's stead for tonight's game against Illinois, and we hope to have Greg back next week against Purdue. We'll just kind of see how things go in his recovery. So that's the latest on that. Wanted to end all speculation. He's great. He's in good spirits. He's happy. He's just going to be dealing with some things that were a bit unexpected this week. All that being said, we are going to talk football over the next couple of hours coming up here on the show. DB and I will kind of get into this week. It's an unusual week. It's been an unusual day. I mean, sometimes we've had these Friday night games, they've been road games, so they felt a little bit different. You know, just being around the capital city here today and seeing when fans are tailgating, when they're not, people working, parking lots closed, parking lots open, establishments open, establishments closed. It's been a little bizarre. And the other thing, too, is a short week. Sometimes we've opened the season on a Thursday or a Friday. It's been a bit unusual this week having a short week on a Friday. So we'll get into that. We'll dive into what happened last week against Northern Iowa, things we liked and things we hope to see cleaned up. No shortage of teaching moments, as Coach Rule is quick to point out in his post-game press conference against the Panthers last week. We'll have our Cornhusker conversation. Jessica Cootie will sit down with Nebraska offensive lineman Turner Corcoran, and I'm sure document his story to this point in Nebraska. It's been a long story, but a good one, and let's hope to see his Cornhusker career finish strong. We'll break down today's opponent, the Fighting Illini from Illinois. We'll get into our game changer today, who we think could have a big impact in the Huskers' victory today, and, of course, our keys to the game, all before we send things over to countdown to kickoff. Well, DB, that was a long monologue. Welcome to it. Friday night, this is a bit unusual.
Yeah, I'm used to football on Friday, but just not of the college variety. But here we are, and I kind of like the little scene set because just we're driving around and try to see how long the Children's Museum was open, and so I'm just downtown, right? And I'm thinking to myself, wow, there's an awful lot of people out here already. I don't know if it's a Friday and we're used to getting off early, or people are looking forward to the 400 or first conference Big Ten game, maybe all of it, right? But it's a little hustle and bustle, much busier at this time than a week ago for Northern Iowa on what we'd call a typical game day. This one may get pretty good tonight.
Do you think the little numbers next to the team names have something to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, and I think Coach Rule kind of set the standard with how he talked all week about. I think he caught some people off guard with the whole preseason versus the regular season thing, but I mean, he just did finish pro, and you know what? I do think you need a line of demarcation for your players to understand where they are in their process and in the journey. So I didn't really mind that, but maybe it's the 24, the 22, the top 25. Can we break the streak? And I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a good old-fashioned Friday, and we're lathered up for some football.
That could be it. It doesn't take a lot to get people excited here.
No, not at all.
With a little brown-colored ball shaped like a lemon with some white stripes on it to get excited. The other thing that was a little strange this week was a short week, and it's usually about this time, Damon, that you're not 100% for the rest of the year. Everybody's got bumps. Everybody's got bruises. Everybody's in the treatment room for something, whether they show up on the availability report or not. You don't play a grown man's football game between the trenches, especially like we saw last week against Northern Iowa, and come out of that 100% healthy. Talk to us the importance of what's a big part of the building right over your right shoulder, the recovery center of the Tom Osborne complex, of these guys taking care of their bodies, and how important that is on a short week.
It's huge. And Coach Rule, atypically of a lot of coaches, does not like to move the practice schedule up for early games. I think the one adjustment they did make was utilize Sunday as kind of an install day as opposed to maybe more of a rest and recovery. But he was clear to schedule rest and recovery time. So you're kind of getting, they treated Sunday a little bit like Monday, but then a Monday was still a Monday and a Tuesday was still a Tuesday. So for them, I kind of like how they stayed on schedule, which is a little different for coaches. But I kind of like his approach. And the other thing is, he's huge on that. Isn't it weird how much he's talked about making sure your body's right and playing a long game and making sure that, you're hoping to play more than 12 games, and everything from his roster management to getting guys out of the game as soon as he can to rest. Like, he's kind of just speaks things into his existence, and I think the rest and recovery is part of that. And they're fortunate to have such an amazing facility that they have about 100 yards from us right now, including the space inside. I mean, we got to walk down the stairs and stuff.
Geometry was never my forte. We'll take that.
And I mean, as baseball guys, you could probably hit how close it is a lot quicker than I could. I'd have to get loose, but it's a big part of what they do, and it's something that they're pretty animate about over there, is taking care of your body.
And I'm sure he learned a good portion of this in the NFL too, because we had Jared Crick sitting in that seat last week talking
Wasn't
about.
he good? He
good.
He was so candid and authentic. I'm like, that's why I love that guy.
And well, he said, that was the one thing that I wish I learned in college, was how important that was, taking care of your body. Starts with something as simple as sleep. Making sure you're sleeping enough. And he didn't learn that till the NFL. And I think that's a message. If you don't know it by now, you got to learn it the hard way.
Right.
That if you haven't, it becomes more of a challenge than some of the other things, is making sure. And it takes one play, one snap for you to learn that lesson. I should have listened to those in charge. And that's the other thing, Damon. Outside of the facilities, the personnel that Nebraska has on staff, right, with Kristen Coggin and a lot of the support staff, the nutritionists. Like, there are people that are making sure and monitoring hydration levels, sleep,
vitamins,
all that stuff.
the whole nine, the caloric intake, the time in the recovery pool, the sleep center, all of it. They don't skip a beat. And you know what I think is pretty cool? When you have this many people in an organization, it's hard to have kind of that unified front without the doldrums of like groupthink, but they're pretty good about being on the same page, where I know if I'm Jamari Butler and I want to get my lower half right, my practice schedule has to follow my weightlifting regimen. My weightlifting regimen has to be built upon when I'm getting treatment and how I'm recovering, and so I don't lose core strength and things like that. So for everybody to be on the same page and think, each individual think collectively for kind of like a common goal, these guys have that part down. And so I think that enables them, for the most part, to keep guys healthy. Knock on wood, this is about as healthy as I think this football team could be coming in to the first matchup in the Big Ten Conference on a short week. So I think they've handled their business accordingly. And we saw it last week where they didn't want to play guys like Jamari Butler, and they were quick to get some of those top unit guys out to get ready for this game.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason I was going with that is Coach Rule knew then and knows now what type of physical battles ahead tonight with Illinois.
Yeah.
You mentioned a word a few minutes ago that I want to dive into a bit deeper, because one of my buddies asked me this question this week, and I think there's no better time than now to talk about that word, and that's install. right? A lot of times we throw that word around, and you think to me the most applicable of that word on a 7-day interval of games, you see it a lot with tempo, right?
Yeah.
And it comes down to alignment and assignment. That's the old cliche.
Alignment, assignment, technique. Very good.
And I think, to me, even more so than tempo, doing it on a short week is maybe more important than it is, getting ready for tempo. Ironically enough, the last ranked team Nebraska beat in this building was Oregon. That was the talk all week, was preparing for that tempo, making sure, doing all the things, the extra things during the week to get ready for that. But the install for a player, dive into that for our listeners that maybe not be familiar with the film study that goes into week to week and how that timeline escalates when you're shaving an entire day off studying for that test.
Well, if anybody in our listening audience heard Dylan Raiola on Monday, I was blown away, where he talked about pre-snap looks, Illinois' coverage, how to utilize motion, kind of the breakdown of what their secondary likes to do. And people have to keep in mind, they played Saturday night late. You were back in recovery on Sunday morning. He had to have spent a fair amount of time using a quote-unquote kind of an off day for installation and everything that was downloaded on the iPad. His ability to use Sunday to absorb and process all the information that he did, that he was relaying, and the Monday press conference was nothing short of astounding. Because typically, you'll go through kind of the game plan and what the scouting report looks like. Then you'll have a day of install and preparation. Then the next day, you rehearse it, you go over it, you see what you don't like. Wednesday, you fine-tune. Thursday's your run-through. Saturday's another run-through. And you're ready to go, right? But you're obviously short a day. So for them to use Sunday to glean as much knowledge as they could so they could treat Monday like a typical Monday, and you heard it in his delivery, that install portion piece is huge.
That was the first tipping point to put that on my list to talk about today, because there's been some chatter among other people, maybe just haters of the program or skeptics of Dylan Raiola, and they're quick to point to the stat line. They're quick to point to X, Y, and Z as why, Raiola is not as good as what people want to digest. And there's a serious problem when you're breaking down statistics compared to exactly what you're saying, because that's what takes a quarterback to the next level, is their workability, their ability to identify that, start to put pieces of the defense together. That's stuff that sometimes doesn't come ever for a quarterback, let alone this early in a career. You just want your signal caller to pick that up at some point. We're 3 games into his career, and you just kind of laid out for us what's going to separate him from everybody else outside of his completion percentage or how many touchdowns he's throwing.
Yeah, and I think, we tried to nip this in the bud in the offseason after spring, where we would talk these hypotheticals about what would be a good year for a freshman in a Power 5 conference, and we went through all of these quarterback statistics, and I think we came up with somewhere, 2,700 yards and 22 touchdowns and maybe 8 or 9 or 10 interceptions. Like, we would take a 2-to-1 interception ratio, and so we agreed we felt like that was pretty good, right? That'd be a great year for a freshman in this conference. Well, right now he's on pace to exceed that. The completion percentage is fantastic. Yep. He's thrown the 1 pick. He's only thrown 3 turnover-worthy balls. He's got the 5 touchdowns. His command of the offense has been impeccable. They have an undefeated record heading in to conference play. I think if you ask the layperson about what you were going to get preseason versus what we've seen now, I'd make the case he's ahead of expectations, and his ceiling is even higher than what we thought coming in. That's not to place unrealistic expectations on Raiola. It's just to say he's every bit as good and maybe better than advertised, especially when you see how they've given him the keys to the kingdom, right? There was no crawling to run this offense. Now, there are things that haven't been on the table given the opponent for the next opponent the next week, but he has full autonomy and full input to say, hey, this is what you like, this is what we like to do, how do we marry the two and play to your strengths? He's been nothing short of fantastic thus far.
And the easy rebuttal is, what do you prefer? A quarterback that has to do everything?
Right.
He's got so many complementary parts to him right now that he doesn't have to go be Superman.
And B-Mac, let's be honest, haven't we longed to get away from such a quarterback-centric, quarterback-heavy, quarterback run game? If this guy is not running the ball, we're screwed philosophy. Like, we wanted to play this style. And if Nebraska was going to be as good as Coach Rule thought this team could be, it was going to be the surrounding pieces. Make no mistake about it. He's the key cog. He's the key or the push button that's going to start this whole great big thing. But the more help he gets from his friends and the more he's a distributor, the better this team's going to be. And I remember saying in the offseason, I'd love for him just to be a facilitator. Make the 5 or 6 key plays every game, the big throws, maybe the occasional scramble where you get a first down with your legs, but just be able to play catch. And there were some people that said, well, how can you ask a 5-star to be a game manager? And I'm like, listen, because you think game manager is a dirty word, I'm not owning that. That's not on my watch. I would love for a quarterback to just be able to do what they're asked to do and make those 5 or 6 plays every game, because if that's the case, you know you're moving in the right direction. There are a lot of teams. Right now, we're seeing it in the NFL. I think you've had 5 300-yard passing games in the first 2 weeks.
Just quit playing too high. Ask Mel Kiper.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that one. That's Operation Meltdown on that one. But teams understand it with these smaller, lighter, quicker defenses. The running game has had a resurgence. Salting clock has had a resurgence. Just getting wins has had a resurgence. And that's the NFL. Just imagine now what college football is thinking in these power conferences when you just have to make the 12-team playoff. Where's the reward in style points? It's win and move on and get to the next week. Coach Rule is just ahead of the game in terms of college. This isn't some cutesy, show me how much you know offense and how innovative can we be. I mean, you look no further than Ohio State. Those talented wide receivers, the pair that they have, 61st and 71st, respectively, in receiving yards. Do you know why? Ohio State wants to run the football. They have 2 really good running backs. They know that they want to play the long game. Late in the season, you have to be able to run the football. Nebraska's just ahead of the curve. And I think as a fan base, B-Mac, we may have to adjust a little bit. There's some NFL mentality here, and that is win and move on. The style point, we heard Coach Sat say it. We heard Coach Rule say it. I couldn't care less about stats. The only one we care about, literally, is W's.
And it seems ridiculous that we're having to explain this to a fan base. Do you not remember the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Like, let's be happy with the cake that was just put in front of our face.
And even if you're a 90s honk, right, which I should be, but I'm not, go back and look at 93. A little ugly. Got to where we needed to be for a championship game. A little ugly on offense. 94, a little ugly on offense, right? We trailed at the half to Wyoming, and there's a lot. Win and move on. That's what this is about.
I had to chuckle because you mentioned he has turned it over. Coach Rule is steady Eddie as it gets, but if we've got one thing in one holster and another to ruffle him up, talk about safeties not being turnovers, and talk about Dylan Raiola's first interception. I mean, hey, if he's ever having a good day and for whatever reason you're trying to knock him down a peg, just whip one of those 2 out.
Yeah, he's gonna bristle up. And listen, this is kind of how the only thing he's not getting today in this opener is the rain that was originally forecasted. He enjoys thriving in chaos. He's not what I would call a contrarian, but he is very resolute and he has a ton of conviction, right? So he thinks his edge will be his team's culture and their toughness. He wants that to play out every chance it gets. You think he cares about style points? Not one bit, man. This team hasn't won. This university, this football program hasn't won in a long time. He is about winning.
Yeah. And also, by the way, it's a tough day for all those weathermen out there for Brett Bielema because the only people that can be wrong at their jobs are sports writers and weathermen. I would throw us in that conversation too because I would definitely say I end up on the wrong side more than the right side.
Yeah, what did happen to the rain,
right.
though? Wasn't that a little, was that just came and went?
Apparently. Welcome to Lincoln, baby.
That's all right.
That would have been kind of nice, though, to throw in a little adversity to the situation, but so it goes. Brett Bielema gets his wish, and people are can continue with their employment as much to the chagrin as
you and I can continue to bat 50-50 on.
I'll take it.
Hit rate.
I'll take it. I'm a baseball guy. 500 is pretty good in that sport.
Unless you're Ohtani.
Yeah. That's another conversation. What an alien. Anyway, we're off and rolling here on the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Appreciate everybody that's dialed us up, whether that be on one of our great affiliates, Huskers.com, the Huskers app, or on YouTube. If you got YouTube, go ahead and join us. Just to warn you, you're going to see our mugs if you're on there. So proceed with caution there if that's something that you want to do. We are live on YouTube. Hop in there and chat with the other fans in there. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska honors Nebraska's outstanding teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator at Huskers.com/touchdown for teachers. We'll step aside with our first break. When we come back, we'll dive into a little bit of what we saw against Northern Iowa on the rewatch, things we liked, and, of course, point out the things Coach Rule would like to see emphasis on here today against Illinois. We're off and rolling. Stay with us.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine.
Hi, welcome.
Is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience.
You know what? I agree.
The life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
Being game day ready means bringing the diehard passion. All in, all the time. And now, you can show your Husker pride everywhere you go. With the Husker Visa Debit Card. Free with FNBO free checking. Gear up, game on, and give it up for the Big Red. Every time you pay. The Husker Visa Debit Card, only at FNBO, the Bank of Husker Nation. Bring it. Get yours today at FNBO.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also has over 20 grams of protein per serving, is gluten-free, and is made with real beef and chicken. Enjoy sandwiches, enchiladas, stir-fry, quality sirloin chicken and corned beef ready in minutes. Simply sizzle, flip, and savor.
I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it.
Visit our website to find a store near you.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
There's only a few minutes left before Mom gets home and Dad needs a win.
He's had a long day, Mac.
He certainly has. Will this All-Star deliver dinner on time, or will Takeout take the title?
Oh, look. He's changing up formation. What's he up to?
There's a snap. He's heading to the fridge. Something's happening.
He's going for... I can't believe it.
Dad's got a bottle of Dorothy Lynch, and he's done it. The chicken, the salad, the veggies. He could go all the way.
Incredible flavor. Unbelievably easy. That's how you win with Dorothy Lynch.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Cornerstone Bank is committed to providing you game-changing solutions for your financial needs. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Welcome back to the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show here on the Huskers Radio Network. Ben McLaughlin joined in studio by Husker color analyst Damon Benning. Damon, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think I would hear as much griping over a 34-3 win than I did last week.
Yeah,
Any ideas?
Well, I'm always hesitant to tell fans how to fan, but I do think we did talk about. I think fans will have the hardest time becoming accustomed to success because we're not sure what to do with it, and we may have forgotten what it looks like. So I think I'm willing to give a little.
Why is it every week we win, we come back to this conversation? Because I think there's so much truth to it.
I have a theory. You have to. So let me know if you think this is crazy. I think until Nebraska gets back to true national relevance, and they're already putting one foot in front of the other, I just get the sense that every game is like this referendum, right? It's like this is ultimate. I have to pit it against something. And the most natural thing I can pit it against is another opponent. So we judge it from week to week. We're not hearing what Coach Rule and this staff is saying, and they're saying at some point, it can't be about who we play. We have to become our own benchmark, right? I mean, Apple isn't worried about what Android is thinking. They're being the best version of Apple, right? So at some point, Nebraska will become their own benchmark, and we'll stop doing that. But it's going to take a little time because we're not used to it.
Did you bring that up because you're the Android guy? Is that just a metaphor you just carry around with you?
I'm going to always continue to ruin your text chains.
I was going to say, you are single-handedly the dude that turns my bubble from blue to green.
I know. But just look at it this way. You wouldn't be as multifaceted in terms of how to fix people's electronics if I had Apple. You wouldn't be able to babysit me accordingly.
I didn't think I'd ever be an Android expert without owning an Android phone, but here we are. So it goes. It builds the diversification. Yeah, the knowledge base.
You like a huge portfolio.
I do. You and I likes a large running back. Holy smokes, those guys were big, and as it turns out, the guys.
How about their footwork? Those guys. Listen, Pesic, Hickson, and Ty Edwards. Those are good backs. Good backs with good feet.
You tell me before the game, Ty Edwards only gets 10 carries, and I go.
Was that not odd?
And I think
I think maybe they felt like Amari got hot.
4 at halftime.
Yeah. And Lord knows they had a ton of snaps because Nebraska sure did.
Well, yeah. Okay, so let's take this a step further, right? 10 carries for Ty Edwards. I think you look at the 71 total plays there, and you go, all right, you and I run 71 total plays. Ty Edwards carries the football 10 times. I'm going, okay, well, one of two things must be happening. They found success through the air, which is not what you're hoping for, or maybe he got hurt, when in fact the truth relies on the third response, which was Nebraska just did a really good job against the run game and forced you and I to do other things. I think, Aiden Dunn carrying the football 11 times is way more than you and I probably would have expected.
22 for 88, I think, between the two and just in gain yards, and that doesn't count the losses. So you held those guys combined under 4 yards a carry, 23 for 88, and so I think that's pretty good for Nebraska. Right now, what was you and I's remedy? What you just mentioned was a little bit of QB run game, and he was a little erratic at times, but they said, okay, listen, we can't really move this with the efficiency we want running the ball. We're going to throw it a little bit, and I think that's why you saw the 25 pass attempts, even though it only net them 117 yards.
For Nebraska, Dowdell 6 totes, Emmett Johnson 4, Ramir 2, Irvin 3. I think those numbers are probably even a little lower than we have expected.
Do you like the 22 for 142?
You think about how they happen, right? You don't want that, like we talk about with the turnover margin. We don't want that to be skewed by one big one or one or two big ones. I'm thinking of Dowdell specifically. He's an angry runner, man.
Oh.
He has pain behind those pads, and he is not afraid to lower it down. And how great was it to see Emmett Johnson get in there and make the most of it, of his effort?
I was so proud of the fact that he was kind of the other guy from last week against Colorado, where he didn't get a ton of touches. Ramirez started the first 2 games, and we didn't see him until the second half. And it's a little early to give Coach Barthel his flowers. But when you get guys to respond whenever you call on them, especially us high-maintenance guys like running backs where communication is the key and we like to operate in the know, I mean, he's doing some big things. There's not one guy in that room that looks worse than the last time we saw him. And so I think he's done a fantastic job of communicating with those guys. And how interesting was it that they, in fact, thought that Emmett would be the hammer guy to close them out at the end of the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it speaks to the character, right? And I think to a certain degree, you look at the 4 of them and the stories that they're telling. Dowdell's maybe the exclusion here because he's the transfer, but Gabe Irvin was the starter here as a freshman. And, we all know the tribulations he's been through. Ramir, a little bit the same way. He sat a little bit, saw some flashes as a freshman, kind of came out in that Rutgers game as a true freshman. Then he kind of came back, and he's been dealing with a lot of stuff. And I think to a certain degree, Emmett Johnson was thrust into action because of reasons X, Y, and Z. So you look at the variables of how these guys got here, it's going to be interesting to see how the personalities unfold in that room specifically. And the way that it's working right now is it doesn't seem like there's hurt feelings. And in a lot of these cases, you think of the 3 guys that have been here, you would think you would understand. You would understand if their feelings get hurt because of everything they've been through to get to today.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take it one by one. If you're Gabe, you're like, I've rehabbed my brains, that I've come back bigger, stronger, arguably faster. Oh, hey, do you remember me? I was our short yardage guy against UTEP. Wasn't that cool to score short-range touchdowns? Ramir, shoulder injury, paid my dues. These guys really wanted me to stay here when I was thinking about maybe hitting the transfer portal when this staff first got here. I'm here. Then there's Emmett. Well, you guys dangle this carrot in front of me all the time, and you won't fully give me the keys. You say you trust me. Do you really? And then there's Dowdell, who 2 months into being here, he's probably thinking, wait a minute, this ain't Oregon. You guys didn't like me after the spring game? Like, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden, the season starts, you're 4 games in, and you're like, must be nice to have options, because they have 4 of them.
They do. And guys that do different things, the versatility, all of them, I think, is relevant to Coach Satt and how he builds a plan and how he manages those guys' reps during the week. I think, over the course of this season, there's going to be times where every single one of those numbers is going to be needed in some capacity or another.
And you look at the culture within this team, whether it's the quarterback competition and those guys pushing Dylan till the end, the camaraderie and the competition in the quarterback room, the fact that you have a different leading receiver each week, and you may be leading your team in catches with like 4 on the night, and you have to share. If you're not other-centered, you probably better find another university to play for. And the cool thing about it is Coach Rule has always, he said, the teams that stay together, that have good culture, that grow old together will be the teams that he thinks flourish in this new era, new age style college football. This could be the basic building blocks.
One more for you before we turn the page from UNI to Illinois. The thing I love about Coach Rule is, and really how these games have unfolded, maybe to the chagrin of some fans who like those style points, as you're saying, no shortage of teachable moments. And he's always very quick to point those out in the press conference of things that he wants to see. And I think for Nebraska, when you look at, the Colorado game, certainly the penalties is something that you look at. Special teams on Colorado certainly needed to improve. When you look at what Nebraska did against Northern Iowa and some of the things that Coach Rule is pointing to, what's something that was harped on this week for the team to improve?
Well, I think obviously the leaking yardage and tackling, right? I don't think Nebraska loved the tackling. And it's not just like, me and Josh 1v1, right? I think it's, hey, use the correct shoulder, make sure that you're spilling to the correct guy, gives him a better angle. Let's shorten guys' runs. Let's be a little bit more disciplined. Like, tackling is not just when the free defender gets to the ball carrier. There's lots of things that happen that enable you to be a good tackling team. So that's one. And then the other thing is, I think they want to be able to run the ball when they want to run the ball, not when they have to run the ball. And so you want to put yourself in situations where, hey, we may need 4 minutes. We may need to choose 6. It's not necessarily about getting points, but we want to be able to negotiate the clock. So I think situationally, when and how they run the football will continue to be a point of emphasis for them, because what we hear Coach Satz say on Monday, we want to be a team that gets these guys in deep water, wins it in the fourth quarter, where we grind teams down, because that's how we want to be built. But then he threw in make no mistake, if we need to score points in the fourth, we 100% will be able to do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's another thing fans are focused on, second half scoring, and that's a whole other conversation. But, interesting stuff. 34-3, nothing to laugh at. Move on. That's a good team. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games in a tough league. Very tough conference. There's no question about it. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. We're going to step aside for another break. When we come back, our Cornhusker conversation. But before then, Trooper Brett has a first traffic report on what's going on the roads around the capital city.
Good afternoon, Husker fans. Traffic is starting to build around the stadium and elsewhere ahead of tonight's massive matchup against the Fighting Illini. We're seeing slowdowns on Highway 66 from the Highway 6 junction just south of Ashland there, all the way to the Interstate 80 on-ramp near Mahoney, as there is ongoing construction. Also, anticipate congestion on Highway 34 just north of I-80. And as you get close to the stadium, plan on that stop-and-go traffic on I-180 southbound. Husker fans, drunk driving puts everyone on the road at risk. Be a teammate to your fellow fans and always have a sober driver. I'm Trooper Brett, the Nebraska State Patrol Traffic Report on the Huskers Radio Network. This traffic report is brought to you by the NDOT.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine.
Hi, welcome.
Is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience.
You know what? I agree.
The life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise, and peak flu season is almost here. Save time and get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough.
Now get 1.9% financing on a brand new 2024 F-150 or Super Duty, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air,
and Electrical.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome into this week's Score and Husker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. This week we're sitting down with offensive lineman Turner Corcoran. Turner, thanks so much for being here with us.
Yeah, of course.
Well, 3-0, and I know you guys have the mentality to go 1-0, but how has it felt each week now to stack 3 in a row, walking off the field with those wins?
Yeah, it's felt pretty good. You know, every single week we work so hard on our preparation and, you know, going at each other, doing the physical stuff that we need to do in order to be able to come out with a victory on Saturday. So, you know, it's been pretty rewarding. Going far, especially with how past seasons have gone. And, you know, we're just looking forward to every single week. You know, after our games are over, we flush whatever happened, good or bad, and we correct our mistakes, and then we move on.
How ready is this team to start Big Ten play after what you guys did in the non-conference?
Yeah, I think we're really ready. You know, like I said, we do a lot of physical things. You know, we get after it every single day of the week, except for our walkthrough days. And you know, we're looking forward to moving into the Big Ten games. You know, Illinois, they got a pretty physical team. You know, it doesn't matter what that score was last year. They played really hard, and you know, we're looking forward to that game specifically because you know they got a physical team.
You guys offensively have been able to come out and really get it rolling early and in the first 2 quarters in each of the 3 games. What's been the key to the starts for you guys in each of the 3 games? Yeah,
you know, I really think that's a credit to how as an offense we do with our preparation, and also Coach Satterfield and how well he puts together the game plan for us. So,
how much fun is it to be a part of an offense that utilizes so many different people?
I think it's pretty cool because, you know, we work so hard in the off-season months, and, you know, finally when the season comes along, everyone's able to come out there and show what, you know, how hard they've been working. So I think it's a pretty fun offense to be a part of.
What's been your perspective of playing with Dylan Raiola and blocking for him and how he's led this offense?
Yeah, he's a really smart quarterback. You know, Coach Rule touched on it back in the UTEP game. You know, he had that 3-way check that led to a long run. You know, he's really smart. He's able to read a defense really well. You know, and that's a credit to him and his preparation. You know, he prepares like no one I've ever seen. You know, having a father that's played in the NFL for a really long time has helped him. be where he's at. You know, he doesn't look like a freshman out there, and, you know, I'm really excited for that guy.
It's funny, you talked about his dad, and even though his son plays quarterback, he's always hanging out with the offensive line.
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
what's Dylan's knowledge of the offensive line and working with you guys?
You know, he knows all of our protections, obviously, and he knows where the football's supposed to go on certain pass plays and, you know, the run plays, too. Like, he knows where the running back's supposed to cut on tight zones or wide zones, and, you know, it just makes it very special, so he can just talk to the running backs and he can talk to everybody involved in the offense and not just know what the quarterback does. He knows what everybody's doing.
How do you feel this season?
Yeah, you know, I feel great. You know, just being able to come back for my 5th year and play with these guys one last time has been really special.
You know, you've been through a lot. I mean, just with injuries, but then with the coaching changes, all that. What's kept you coming back?
The locker room. You know, I wouldn't do it for anybody else other than the locker room, and obviously my people back home, my family and friends back home. You know, they're really special to me, and, you know, we're really tight as a unit in the O-line room, and, you know, I really feel like we're able to push our cohesiveness and togetherness into the offense and to the rest of the team. So.
What's gone into that for an offense to be offensive line to be that close, for you guys to be that close? Because, I mean, everyone on the team says that all the time, and you can say that, but, you know, why is it different? Why are you guys so close?
You know, when Coach Donnie came in, he really helped us set a standard for ourselves, and, you know, after every single play, we go up to each other and we give each other a fist bump like that, and it doesn't matter what happened on the last play, good or bad, we want to be able to regroup and come back together and, you know, play the next play.
You guys have been so bought in to Coach Raiola and what he's brought. When was it that you thought, okay, this is our guy, we want to play for this guy?
Yeah, I mean, when he first came in, he told us, you know, like, we need everybody to be able to buy in and to play well as a unit. And so moving forward from there, we just started hanging out more, doing everything together on the weekends, whatever it was. We wanted to be around each other, whether it was watching, you know, the NFL games that were going on or other college games, you know, that might be playing. And, you know, I think it's really a special time just to be able to be around each other because, you know, we're never going to be able to get this opportunity again.
How does it feel out on the field when you've played with so many of the guys that you're standing next to on the offensive line?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've played a ton of snaps, but, you know, we enjoy each other's presence. And, you know, we've had so many different looks. And Coach was talking about the game from last year against Illinois. He's bringing up a look, and Ben's like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And, you know, everybody's kind of like, yeah, I remember this play when it happened and what blitz they were bringing and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just being able to get those reps under our belt and being able to communicate when it happens. So.
Does it become where you don't even really have to talk much, you just know?
We still do, you know, just to stay on the same page, you know, whether we got some sort of pressure coming, we got to let everybody know just so we know what the defense is doing.
How much do you believe in, you know, Coach Raiola has talked about how good you guys have been at bringing the younger guys along and that it's been important to you. How much do you believe in the future of this O-line group with some of those young guys that are in the room with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe in that 1,000% because, you know, I wouldn't be doing this if I weren't able to help the young guys because those are the guys that are going to help bring the standard along and, you know, that are going to help carry this team to, you know, more wins in the future and bring a championship here eventually. So.
Okay, so we like to get to know the person that's in this hot seat each week. Can you take me back to when you first started playing football, what you loved about the sport, what drew you to the sport?
So I played on this little league team called the Gorillas. Head coach was Coach Flash Barth. He played at KU. I'm from Lawrence. He played at KU. You know, I looked up to him a lot, looked up to my dad. He played high school quarterback down in Salina, Kansas. And, you know, I just wanted to be around the guys that I was, you know, playing football with. It didn't matter what we were doing. You know, we'd always find ourselves, you know, going to the KU football games on the weekends and, you know, kind of just playing around out there. What drew me to the sport was just, you know, being with a bunch of guys that, you know, had one goal in common. And, you know, that's just to win. So.
Were you always big? Were you always on the line?
Yeah, I was always a big guy. You know, I don't know how big I was, but, like, I was bigger than everybody and, you know, started to grow and then leaned out a little bit, wanted to play tight end and quarterback and, you know, really wasn't that fast, but I could catch a ball. But moved back to O-line my sophomore year of high school. Looked up to Scott Franz. He played left tackle at Free State and then at Kansas State for a while. And, yeah, so.
You're the top recruit out of the state of Kansas coming out of high school. At what point did you realize, wow, I'm pretty good at this and I might could do this for a while?
Just going into the film room on Saturday mornings, talking to Coach Lisher and, the rest of the guys in our O-line room, talking to Coach Henderson, our O-line coach. Coach Henderson told me I could be as good as I want to be if I just put the work in. And, I worked my butt off every single day in the off season, working with Coach Barra, my old trainer, and then working with Coach Tyler, another one of my old trainers. Those guys really helped push me to get me to where I am.
When did it become a dream for you to play at this level and maybe even beyond?
Man, probably freshman year of high school, maybe even before that, probably 8th grade, playing in those youth leagues and the youth travel ball and stuff like that, playing with so many talented dudes and those coaches and stuff, just because they had helped coach guys to get to the next level. And, if I was thinking, like, if they did it, why can't I? So
I read somewhere where, you continue to get recruited even once you committed to Nebraska in a day and age where that doesn't always happen. Why were you so locked in on this place that, hey, once you made you gave them your word, you were sticking to it?
Yeah, I just felt like that's just who I was. And, I knew this place was special and this place was home for me. The people here are great. They've always had my back. And, I just wanted to help make this place great again.
So you had mentioned how much you love your family and friends in Lawrence. You grew up there. Kansas, obviously KU was there. Mm-hmm. So how did you wind up at Nebraska with KU in the backyard?
Yeah, like I said, I just knew how special this place was. From day one, I felt like this place was really different. Coming to games and stuff, this place was selling out. Didn't matter what the team's record was. I knew that this place was a special place to be at.
So how much did your family and friends then support you when you picked Nebraska?
Oh, they were all in. It didn't matter what school I would have gone to. They wanted the best for me, and they knew that this spot was really good. So.
Tell us about some of those connections, why it's so important to you to stay connected despite being up here in Nebraska.
Yeah, I still invite my friends and family to games all the time, obviously, and, I want to stay connected with my coaches back home just because, they helped me get to where I am. They've been a big support system in my life, and, I just want to help repay them a little bit, just show them that, I care about them. Obviously, still doesn't matter where I'm at, and yeah.
When, you've gone through so much adversity, when you're going through, especially the injury last year, what were some of the things you took away from that time that made you a better turner and a better player, a better person?
Yeah, I kind of took on a little bit of a coaching role, tried to help get Gunner, help him become a better player. Obviously, Teddy's a special player. So, whatever I could tell him, just to help him with his process, that's just what I wanted to do. Obviously, I played a little bit of guard, so I was trying to help everybody else, like Jason, Machachek, and, young guys just in general. I kind of wanted to help coach them, so.
Do you like being versatile and being able to play both tackle guard anywhere on the line?
Yeah, obviously, I just want to help this team win. At the end of the day, that's just what I want. What I want was what's best for this team.
I'm sure this will be a similar answer to some of the other questions, but, again, with the day and the age of the transfer portal and a lot of guys going and running, or not running, but, finding different places for them when coaching changes happen. Yeah. What kept you here? What made you believe in this staff?
Yeah, it was what came down to it was this locker room. The group of guys that, we struggled with, we fought for, and, we played for each other. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what kept me here. Obviously, there was no blinking when it came for me thinking about a transfer portal. No, I just wanted to be here with my guys.
With so many guys that have been around and been through so much together, and the older guys, both defense, offense, you go up against those guys every day. Being a player-led team, how has that felt different? How important has that been for this group?
It's been big time. Whenever we're able to hold each other accountable, that's what helps bring teams along. You can't just have coaches yelling at players all the time. You got to have some player accountability, a lot of player accountability, in order to get the stuff done, because it shows that you care. Like if I'm talking to a young guy and he's constantly not able to do something right, if we're talking to him, it's going to help him think like, hey, this guy cares. Like, this guy wants me to get better, not just the coaches.
How has the atmosphere been this season for you guys? They're pretty quiet when you guys are out there.
Yeah, thankfully, it's been pretty awesome, but every now and then we hit a big play and they start screaming and Dylan has to start calming them down. We're in the red zone. We got to be able to hear. But, it's been electric. Like that first drive that we had against Colorado, or, well, I guess when defense was out there, I couldn't hear. Like, my ears were ringing. I thought it was awesome. It was probably the best environment that I've been a part of so far.
I know you guys are so focused on, and that mentality has been so important, the 1-0, but have you thought about just the 400 sellout and being a part of a program like this, that this has such support that Husker Nation has been?
No, I remember I was talking to Teddy the other day. We were talking about the 400 game coming up, and when we were recruits, we were looking up at the sellout streak, and we were like, man, I wonder if we'll be a part of the 400, game sellout streak. And it's a landmark. It's really special. But at the end of the day, we just want to get out of there with a W. Wow,
that's great. Okay, let's talk about that. What goes into the W for the offense and facing the Illinois defense? They like to take the ball away. They do it a lot. How do you guys protect the football against this defense? Yeah, they got a special defense. I think they're up there, if not leading the Big Ten in takeaways, and they hold on to the ball offensively. So it's important for us to be able to take care of the football, give our defense a chance to take a break on the sideline and regroup, and for us to just keep moving the ball. It's Big Ten football. If you take care of the ball and you take care of the football and you take care of the time of possession, you're probably going to win the game. You guys have handled things, going into the half, you've had things pretty much in control. How ready do you guys feel to manage a 4-quarter game if that is what's necessary? Yeah, I feel like we're capable of it because, I believe that we have a really great defense. And, we got a heck of a quarterback, calling the shots back there. So, and I think that Coach Satterfield makes a lot of great decisions. And, we just got to be able to believe in each other. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is believing in your teammates. Finally, just running out there on a Friday night, how excited are you for this atmosphere and a Friday night matchup? Yeah, no, we're pumped up. This is the first time, if I'm wrong, please let me know, but that Nebraska's having a Friday night game. And, it's going to be a Friday night game, and we're just fired up. So best of luck. Appreciate your time, and can't wait to see you guys run out there on Friday night. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks again to Turner Corcoran for sitting down with us for this week's Core and Husker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Husker Athletics.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker Football Spring Game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network. This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you.
Aw, thanks.
Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. through H2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Working together, Central Valley Ag unites with our farmers to feed a hungry planet. Enroll in CVA's Go Early Seed program and maximize your purchasing power with 1 year of 0% financing for seed and crop protection. Register for a chance to win Husker football tickets when you enroll in CVA's Go Early Seed program by October 18th. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Gary's Quick Steak is 100% sirloin and cooks from frozen in minutes.
Hi, my name is Gary Rower. I developed America's fastest cooking Philly steak from my 2 cheesesteak restaurant chains, one of which became a top 100 chain in the country. Faster means more great tasting meals in minutes. I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it. My Quick Steak can be found in stores near you or buy online.
Look for Gary's Quick Steak at your local grocery and club stores.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
There's something to be said for American-made, but at Monolith, we're helping create Nebraska-made. From here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. Soon we'll be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. We're investing hundreds of millions in our multiple Nebraska facilities and employing Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska-made.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, Nebraska fans, some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show continues to roll along. Ben McLaughlin, along with Husker color analyst Damon Benning, Josh Ilkeman, best producer in college sports with us, pushing the buttons, making sure
lofty praise,
doing his best
lofty
to make sure
praise.
we sound good, and that's a job that not many people want. I'll tell you that for free. All right, so Turner Corcoran,
the burden of carrying the crown. Goat.
Yeah. They don't hand that chair to anybody.
No.
Turner Corcoran, along with the Hog Mollies.
Yeah, that's old school. I'll go with that.
We haven't talked a lot of O-line play on the show, which is quite different for when B. Sty had your chair, because we talked O-line about 85% of the time. Not my call doing that. They just always found a way to turn itself into O-line.
Yeah, get that guy to diversify his portfolio.
Yeah, but hey, are we really having a pregame show if we're not talking O-line and fullback?
Yeah.
Because that's what the people really want to hear about. Just listen to Big Red Reaction.
Just run the ball.
Anyhow, offensive line. To me, I think the conversation here, DB, and we talked about this before the UTEP game, the experience up front, and now with the slight change of Latovsky at guard, how have you seen these guys work together? And it seems like, to me, maybe the most animated guy on the sideline week over week is Coach Raiola.
Yeah, and I mean, so here's the cool thing about somebody stepping in and filling in the role of a starter is that unit is so as one. Like, they're about as cohesive a group as anybody that's on this campus, and that includes the band. They move the same, they talk the same, they dress the same. And so I think when you insert new starter, the standard is still the same. And I'll go back to something that Coach Raiola said at the end of spring, previewing fall. He said, since the standard is the standard, it takes all feelings and emotion out of it. We know how to play football. And I'm just thinking, Henry Latovsky, come on down. It's good news that I think Mazuka is available if they need him. But this team isn't going to skip a beat when it comes to the standard being the standard.
It's been interesting kind of watching them work, and I think the scheme that Coach sat, particularly in the run game now I'm speaking of, he'll do some things that aids them. Like, I'm talking about the motions coming down, bringing blockers from other places. And to me, it's been really beautiful to watch in real time those types of plays unfold because, think about the Colorado game last year, right? We've got tight ends running into the snap. We've got all kinds of things happening, and that's got to creep into the mind as a play caller. Are you able to execute, things like this in the scheme that we want to play? That's something that you and I talked about a ton, or noticed during I believe it was the Wisconsin game with Coach Satt. Like, hey, we know what he should be calling, and we know what's working, but we're not executing it. So what do you do? I feel like the running game specifically has been an area that he has been able to kind of do what he wants.
And I like the multiple ways that they're getting to their pet plays in the run game. And I think, what that also allows you to do, B-Mac, is you can play multiple guys. And within those personnel groupings, you can utilize different formations. And it's kind of one of those things where occasionally when you're driving home or you're hitting the grocery store, you may want to take a different way, but you ultimately know where you want to be. And I think whether you take O Street or P Street or, you go over the viaduct, you know where you ultimately want to get. And I think as long as this team stays constant with that, which is we want to be a good rushing football team, there'll be multiple ways that they skin the cat to arrive at the same place.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing to dissect because of all the moving parts. Experienced O-line, true freshman quarterback, and then what you have behind him. It's been a blend, but as we talked about with Dylan earlier, when you've got a guy that's confident as he is running the machine, that's not creeping into Coach Satterfield's mind. He's able to execute the plan that he wants to in place, and that's so huge when it comes to the mind of a play caller. And you're even seeing a lot in the NFL right now as well with certain guys and offenses not being able to do what they want to do. So certainly an area that I think deserves a lot of praise. Seeing Donnie and his emotion down there.
Yeah, he's fiery.
There's no secret.
Well, let's say he prefers passionate, so we'll go with passionate. He thinks fiery sometimes has a negative connotation to it, but he's a guy that's full of energy, and he's going to let you know how he feels. I imagine he's a lousy card player because you're going to know right what he's thinking. But other than that, man, he's good to go.
No doubt. Damon Benning, Ben McLaughlin with you on the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show, off and rolling. Just shortly. Less than 3 hours now, kickoff between Nebraska and Illinois. We'll step aside for another break. When we come back, we'll break down today's opponent. Brett Bielema was fighting Illini from Champaign, Illinois. It's coming up next.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, son, can you hand me that vice grip? As any farmer or rancher knows, having the right tools in the toolbox is important. That goes for your ag lending as well. If you're considering expansion, restructuring debt, or purchasing equipment, call Dakota Mac. We have a toolbox full of lending solutions to help you with your ag financing needs.
Hi, it's Nick Renno from Dakota Mac. Call me at 308-380-7564 for all your ag financing needs.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bringing almost 80 years of wealth management experience, Bridges Trust understands the value of tradition and legacy. They've built their reputation by helping clients achieve their objectives by providing services in investment management, trust and estate planning, philanthropic consulting, and family office services. Committed to offering build-to-suit and specialized wealth advisory services, Bridges Trust prioritizes their clients' best interests to support the growth and preservation of legacies for future generations. Bridges Trust. Trust for generations.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
This is Big Red Football.
Being game day ready means bringing the die-hard passion, all in, all the time.
And now you can show your Husker pride everywhere you go with the Husker Visa Debit Card. Free with FNBO free checking. Gear up, game on, and give it up for the Big Red. Every time you pay, the Husker Visa Debit Card. Only at FNBO, the Bank of Husker Nation. Bring it. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine
Hi, welcome.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise, and peak flu season is almost here. Save time and get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough.
Now get 1.9% financing on a brand new 2024 F-150 or Super Duty, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
In the first ranked matchup of the season for the Big Red, the number 22 ranked Huskers take on the number 24 ranked Illinois Fighting Illini inside Memorial Stadium. On a shortened week, each of these teams will look to stay undefeated in 2024. Last year's contest ended in a Nebraska win, in which NU dominated. Heinrich Harburg used his legs effectively and led the Huskers to a 20-7 victory over Illinois on the road. However, this year's contest for Nebraska will feature some new impact players who were not a part of last year's battle to open up Big Ten play. Illinois head coach Brett Bielema has his team cooking through 3 games. They are forcing a bunch of turnovers this season and are tied for the second best turnover margin in the nation entering week 4, with a +8 through 3 games. Offensively, Luke Altmaier is in his second season with the Illini after transferring from Ole Miss. The junior from Mississippi has thrown for over 200 yards in 2 of the 3 games this season and leads one of the better passing attacks in the Big Ten.
Here is the snap back. Altmaier steps, looks to throw left. Got a man wide open. Touchdown! Touchdown, Illinois! Pat Bryant, the touchdown maker, is there again, and man, was he wide open. 11 yards, touchdown, Illinois.
Some of the main targets that Altmaier goes to are Pat Bryant and Zachary Franklin. Bryant leads the team in receiving yards through the first quarter of the season and is 3rd in the Big Ten with 235 yards thus far.
2nd and 9 from the 28 of Eastern. Play action fake to McCray. Deep pattern right. Look into the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Touchdown, Illinois. Pat Bryant yards. How did he catch that? He was spinning his way out of bounds. Looked like he might be out of bounds, but he got his feet in. And it would be his second touchdown of the year.
The 6'3" senior just had his first 100-yard receiving game of the season last week against Central Michigan. 2 of his 7 catches went for touchdowns, and Bryant will likely be the main receiving threat that players like Tommy Hill, Malcolm Hartzog, Marquise Buford, and others in the Husker secondary will have to focus on.
Back to pass, Allmeyer throws in the middle, got a man caught. Pat Bryant with a catch down at the 5.
That second
still
effort.
Going, dives, touchdown. Pat Bryant with a catch and run.
Franklin is no joke, though. He has 1 more catch than Bryant on the season, but has yet to find the end zone in 2024. The senior from Texas spent a few seasons at UTSA, where he collected over 250 receptions as a roadrunner, before playing for Ole Miss last year.
Could be a free play. Flag not thrown to the sideline. Franklin, a one-handed catch! Are you kidding me?
Franklin had a great game in Illinois' big win over the formerly ranked Kansas Jayhawks, as his 9 catches for 99 yards helped the Illini establish themselves as a top 25 team in the country after that early season success. On the ground, Caden Fagan has been the main contributor this season so far for the Illini. He started his 2024 campaign with a 100-yard day against Eastern Illinois, but has had his yardage cut down ever since. However, he continues to find the end zone, scoring a touchdown in each of the Illini's 3 games this season.
They line up a tight end in front of the tailback. Here is Altmaier, gives to the tailback, running it in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Illinois!
He is joined by Khalil Valentine and Malik Elzy in the backfield in the running back room. Neither back has provided the same production as Fagan, but might be a factor if the Huskers aren't careful.
2 receivers right, first and goal at the 2. Altmaier in the gun, snap back to him, gives it to Fagan, touchdown! Touchdown, Illinois! That was about as easy as it can happen.
On defense, Xavier Scott is a name to get to know. His 3 interceptions place him tied for the 2nd most by any player in the country this season so far.
Everybody's on the same page. Daniels looking, scrambling, throwing, intercepted, and Xavier Scott making his mark early.
He is just one of 4 total players who enter this week with 3 or more INTs. Quite a game changer for that Illinois defense.
4-man rush. Pass is picked off. Xavier Scott, have yourself a night. Touchdown, Illinois.
Nebraska and Illinois have a series history that has been dominated by the Huskers. After NU's big win last year over the Illini, the Big Red lead the series 14-6 with a tie, with games dating all the way back to 1892. Nebraska could start 4-0 for the first time since 2016 with a win tonight. We'll see if Coach Rule and the Huskers can get the job done in another night game early in the season. Reporting for the Huskers Radio Network, I'm Jacob Schrantz.
Jacob Schrantz, our opponent preview, the Illinois Fighting Illini. All right, first things first, what stands out when you watch them on tape? Obviously, Kansas game, probably the best look at what they're going to roll out there personnel-wise, but what do you like about this bunch?
Yeah, 2 things. Number 1, I think it's a really good secondary. They turn you over, or they take the ball away, and they're pretty opportunistic. And the other thing is, conversely, they must be going up against good players in practice, because I like both Pat Bryant and I like Franklin, too. So they're good outside the numbers, and I don't necessarily love the running game like some other people assume with Brett Bielema. It's not really a hammer kind of run game, but I do like their secondary, and I like the fact that they can get vertical on you in the passing game. They haven't turned the ball over either. I mean, he's done a very good job of taking care of the football with no interceptions.
Turnover margin has been an area that they've thrived. You know, when you look at the statistics, I mean, they're 2nd nationally turnover margin, 4th nationally in points off turnover margin. It's something that they really thrive in. Certainly the pick 6 with Xavier Scott's a player. I mean, he is really good. You know, when you think about the strengths of that team, it's not entirely dissimilar.
Well, both the Scott brothers, even though they're not related. I mean, Both those guys are pretty good back there.
It's almost a little bit like Colorado in terms of team strength, right? I mean, I think certainly no Travis Hunter on that team, certainly no Shedeur Sanders, but
although Zachary Franklin, who's about 38 years old,
he is really
he's got
good.
about 8 billion catches from his UTSA days, and he's been on the preseason All-America list twice, second-team All-America. I mean, he's got injuries didn't allow him to flourish at Ole Miss after his portal transfer year, but I mean, Franklin's big time.
You watch the one-handed catch on the sideline.
Hey, both he and Bryant, right? Their body control is exceptional,
and they're a little bit different. I mean, Bryant's obviously bigger. Hurt Nebraska a year ago. Had the great catch over.
Yes, he did
over Quentin Newsom for a touchdown. But I mean, and they use him a lot of different ways. Quick passes.
Third and 5. That ball's going to Franklin.
You have the long developing drag route across the field to Bryant that they scored on last week. So they'll do some things with Altmaier to both speed up the passing game, but also some longer developing routes. That's going to be interesting to me to see how they want to attack. Can they protect? How do they want to attack Nebraska's secondary? Because Nebraska put together some pretty good tape against Colorado.
And you know what's funny about you saying that is we're almost like we work together. I think if Illinois is vulnerable up front, much like Colorado, it's from guard, center to guard. It is in the middle. Their tackles, pretty good. They're big guys. I mean, what's 330 and 3? They go 665 between the two of them.
It was gold seeing you try to work that math right there in your head. Yeah.
Well, usually you count for me and kind of help me out.
No, you did well.
Where's the dry erase board when I need it?
It's upstairs.
All right. Well, in due time. But, you have two large mammoth tackles, but I think Nebraska can make some hay. Kreutz playing center. He's the small guy of the bunch at 290. Comes from good stock, obviously, with his dad being Olin Kreutz, and his brother is playing linebacker for Illinois too. So it's all in the Kreutz family. But Nebraska with whether it's Hutmaker or Ty Robinson, wherever they line him up, if they can push pressure in Altmaier's face, right up the middle, we know Nebraska's pretty salty on the edges, rushing the quarterback. So if they can keep him contained, I think Nebraska can make hay in the middle.
What's your impression, flip sides of the ball, to Illinois' front seven? They lose Newton, who was an absolute monster in the middle of that defense last year.
You could make the case that defensively along the line last year, Illinois underachieved. So this year they go portaling a little bit, and you get a guy like Briggs and Tara playing the nose for them. But I think they do a good job of situation, like individually getting matchups on offensive lines. And so they'll bring 5 and they'll isolate you and try to get after the quarterback that way. And so they're very good pass rushers. Not so sure how they'll stack up on the rushing the football, defending the run, but getting after the passer, they're pretty good.
They had quite the test with Daniels in Kansas a couple of weeks ago.
Who doesn't look like the same Jaden Daniels,
does he? And that's what I was about to say. He put the ball in harm's way a lot. I think 3 interceptions is what he ended up throwing, and a couple of those were just layup, ball drill type picks that they had. But they've been the point of bringing him up. They've been stressed in a number of ways. They provide challenges with quarterback run game and getting from sideline to sideline with quarterback rollouts and straight, true RPO reads, trying to hit them in the seams.
He's been very good in the RPO game.
Right. So it's been interesting to see kind of the schematic there on the challenges in front of Illinois. And I think Nebraska's going to go at it a little bit differently today. We've been highlighting the strengths of Nebraska's offense, pretty much all show. So I think Coach Satterfield's got an interesting challenge in front of him today, too, with how he wants to go after Illinois, because I'm not sure they can pull a ton from what KU tried to do.
Yeah, what I'm hoping happens is, obviously, I want the ground game to get going and to make sure you can soften the belly up before we go with the little head knockout shots, right? But ideally in the passing game, it's kind of, I hate to keep referencing Colorado, but you can make some hay with their linebackers in coverage. So this seems like a tight end, intermediate passing game kind of day, but we'll see how it plays out with Nebraska running all those shallow crosses and those little underneath routes from a week ago, kind of giving you the blueprint. But Nebraska's bigger receivers like their tight ends, the Borkercher types, the Fidonis. I know I predicted it last week, but I do think Fedoni gets his first touchdown tonight.
Yeah, I had him in this game changer last week thinking that was going to be the case. I swung and missed as I usually do on that.
We should have just reached that thing on the pylon. We both would have been right.
Trust me, I was almost on the table when he's got the ball over the goal line, because that would have been a nice one to get right. One guy I did want to bring up, because we've talked a lot about Illinois' secondary, Jamal Banks. A lot of people not thrilled with what they're seeing from him. The opportunity just hasn't been there. The target share hasn't been there. We've seen him make contested catches already. Obviously, the one right there in the season opener, how to make a great catch with a guy draped on his back in the Colorado game. So he has made plays, but we have yet to see him get really unlocked. Don't give up on him just yet. He is a really good player.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they shared the wealth so much early. I think you'll start to see some more game planning type stuff, and he will be integrally involved in an integral fashion, I think, because that's just a guy who, he's going to make more plays than not. And as you get into Big Ten and conference play, you'll start to see game plans take a specific shape. I think he'll definitely be involved.
We'll see what's in front of him tonight. Going to be interesting to see how they want to attack that Illinois secondary, who has taken the ball away from their opponents here so far this season. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in a crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. We're off and rolling here on the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Husker fans are off and rolling, getting crowded around the stadium. Let's get you updated on some traffic. Here's Trooper Brett.
Good afternoon, fans. As we get closer to kickoff, just a few noteworthy items to report for those of you headed to Lincoln. Troopers are working to clear a disabled vehicle at mile marker 418 on I-80 westbound. Anticipate slowdowns in the area. This will be just before the Platte River Bridge. You will also notice an enhanced law enforcement presence as you approach mile marker 413 westbound. Please be mindful of emergency personnel in the area as you make your way through. If you are heading into Lincoln from the east and looking to cut down on some of those delays, give some thought to exiting at 27th Street. And if you're coming in from the west, consider taking Highway 77 southbound to Rosa Parks Way. Fans, game day takes teamwork on the field and on the road. Put down your phone and keep your focus on driving to help keep all fans safe. I'm Trooper Brett with the Nebraska State Patrol Traffic Report on the Huskers Radio Network. This traffic report is brought to you by the NDOT.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Nebraska companies know that treating people like family is good business. At Medica, protecting families is our specialty. We care for your employees by offering affordable health plans with the benefits they need and the local doctors they trust. And we treat everyone on your team as a person, not a number.
we got your back.
After all, that's how you do business too. With Medica, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Find out more at medica.com.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also has over 20 grams of protein per serving, is gluten-free, and is made with real beef and chicken. Enjoy sandwiches, enchiladas, stir-fry, quality sirloin chicken and corned beef ready in minutes. Simply sizzle, flip, and savor.
I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it.
Visit our website to find a store near you.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show here on the Huskers Radio Network. Tonight, the Huskers and Illini will go at it on a Friday night here at Memorial Stadium. We're happy to welcome into the program now Carl Dickinson, CEO of Central Valley Ag, just a tremendous partner here at the Huskers Radio Network. Thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate the time.
It's absolutely my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Of course. Well, before we get started, why don't you just give us an idea of why co-op is important now, maybe more than ever this day and age?
Yeah, certainly appreciate that question. I mean, you know, agriculture over time is consolidated. We've got, you know, fewer and larger farmers, and them banding together to pool their purchasing power and to pool their marketing power is more important than ever. You know, the industry we work in, we've got less suppliers, we've got less buyers. Obviously, we're in the export market, and so for these farmers to be able to work together in a co-op, it adds value directly to their operations.
And I'm sure mutually beneficial. You know, what one guy needs might be something what some other farmer has, and just kind of the balance there probably, I'm sure, helps.
Well, you're really hitting at the core of what a co-op's about. It's you know, equipment is expensive today, right? And we're seeing costs going up. Elevators are expensive, and application equipment, and so having farmers band together to buy that equipment and share in that, you know, reduces costs for everybody. And once again, we're going into a tougher time in ag right now, and it's going to be really important for our farmers to, once again, to band together, to work together so that we're all successful.
What is it about CVA that makes a difference in our Nebraska farmers' operation?
Yeah, we're proud. We're proud to be associated with the Huskers. We're proud of Central Valley Ag. We think we have some differential advantages, but one of the big ones is Central Valley Ag. We have to be the best place for our farmers to do business first. We don't believe in, you know, this is your co-op, and because you own it, you should do your business here. We believe in we'll be the best place for them to do business, where we'll deliver more value. But one real differentiating factor in the last few years is, last 3 years, being a co-op, we deliver profits back to our farmers. So if the co-op makes money, we give it back. We've delivered $100 million in cash back to our farmers in the last 3 years.
Amazing number, and as you said, with the times that we're in right now, certainly every dollar helps. We talked about this a little bit already, but working together, bringing CVA, bring greater value and strength to a farmer. On which areas specifically have you seen maybe the most growth or the biggest impact on the farmers specifically?
Well, I think, you know, today Central Valley Ag operates 1,310 car shuttle loaders, in most of those in Nebraska, a few in Iowa, a few in Kansas, but mostly in Nebraska. we'll export out of the state of Nebraska today better than 50 million bushels of corn a year. So what that does is it adds value to every bushel that's left. We have a lot of processing in Nebraska, and when those bushels go out, so we're truly adding to the value to producers who don't even do business with us today. And so that's probably the best direct value add that we can show, is allowing producers to pool together to own facilities that allow them then to add value to the products they grow.
It sounds like great strides have been made in this area, and I'm sure that's something we're going to continue to try and build for in the future. What does the future look like, do you think, for CVA and our Nebraska farmers?
Well, I've always been bullish agriculture. Part of our statement here is it's a hungry world, right? We got a lot of people that need fed. We've got a growing population, and so I'm bullish agriculture. But it is a cyclical business, right? We go through tougher times, and we think that in the real near-term future, it's going to get a little tougher, right? Costs are going up. The value of the commodities has dropped off a little bit. But once again, banding together, farmers can get through that, right? There's room for them at the table if they're willing to do the things that they need to do to get through.
Carl, I know you and I have been pretty specialized here in the co-op market, but anything that our fans listening right now you feel like is a message worth driving home to just your average Husker football listener right now, maybe some awareness you'd like to bring?
Well, I think once again, it's agriculture is the backbone of Nebraska, right? And we share the same values as the Huskers, and that's, we do the hard work every day to deliver food to the world and to be successful. But I think we always like to say is there's room at the table for everybody.
I think everybody would like a spot at the table as well, especially the food that we like to put out here in the state of Nebraska. Carl Dickinson, CEO, Central Valley Ag, with us here on the pregame show. Carl, thanks so much for joining us, giving us a few minutes of your valuable time, and hopefully we enjoy a win tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carl Dickinson, CEO, Central Valley Ag, just a tremendous partner of ours here at the Huskers Radio Network. Really appreciate his time here on the pregame show. We'll step aside, and we got more coming up. Stay with us.
This is the Game Changer.
Love in the backfield, Altmaier in the gun. The tight end motions, they turn, give it off to Love, hitting the backfield, trying to bounce his way back out, and he's going to be trapped and brought down by Mackay Bear. That's a huge loss.
Mackay Bear, 6 foot 2 inch, 230-pound linebacker.
Offerdahl is the back. They motion Horn, turn, give it off to Offerdahl, stood up, stop, no, he did not get it.
They don't listen, Sharpie.
Huskers will take over on downs. Mackay Bear, DB, makes the tackle.
Irvington, New Jersey.
Wherever the coach needs me, if he need me to go play on the line of scrimmage, if he need me on the line, if he need me at corner, I don't know. Anywhere he need me to play, I'm going to be there. But for me, it's just help the team be better. Be that piece when they need someone to go make a play. Just be there to help the team get that play. Get the defense going whenever we need juice. That's my job, is just to be here for the defense and for this team.
Tonight's game changer, Mackay Bear. And we were close last week. Tonight's the night. I would say we were pretty good on Raiola week one.
Yeah,
that was a hit.
We're trending in the right direction,
we're moving in the right spot. And hey,
if not, we'll make it up.
We still have a job. Thanks, Brett Bielema. I'll tell you what, if there's a president of the Mackay Bear fan club, I should be it, or I'm at least on the board.
So I like the fact that it kind of fits our working relationship, right? We're very similar. We get along. We work well together. I'm a big Bullocks guy. It's only right that you should like Bear, right? I mean, they play next to each other. Get little similarities like me and you. I mean, why not?
I love it. You took it there, not me. You handed the ball to me, and I'll run with it.
Score, B-Mag, score!
So when you watch them play, to me, the amazing thing is with the middles, when you lose guys that have played 1,000 snaps together, they're almost one mind and two separate bodies. With Reimer, with Henrich, and guys that have played together, two new bodies, but it seems like they're playing so well together.
Yeah, and they feed off of one another. And listen, it starts at the top with Coach Dvorak, and we even saw that Stephon Thompson started the second half, which you and I were a little surprised. I mean, I looked at you and I'm like, 56, where's Bear? But that's okay because those guys have to come along. They're unselfish. And they share a common goal, which is to see each other flourish, man. That is a tight-knit unit led by one of the better coaches in the country.
Part of the reason why I want the Mackay Bear out tonight is we know the secondary is going to be tested with those great receivers, and we knew the case with Colorado, but Illinois is not Colorado, and that Brett Bielema will at least try to run the football.
Yeah.
And the goal tonight's going to be don't let any life get pumped into that side.
And they'll run it out of some spread formations, which puts even more pressure on your insides. And so those guys have been really, really good all season, and I would expect nothing less tonight. The closer this game gets, the more comfortable I am with the way that Nebraska's going to play, and do with that what you will. But I think I got a pretty good pulse of this football team.
It's going to be interesting to see the schematic with Brett Bielema running the football, as you mentioned, because, with his history in Nebraska and the success he's had running the football, that's probably, I don't think it's obsolete to say that's in the back of his mind, even though circumstances from both programs are wildly different from what it was in the past. But, ultimately, to salt a game away on the road, you're going to need to be able to run the ball. And, I've kind of noticed the same thing you did watching the Illinois run game. Interesting personnel. They've got the freshman that's a little bit more elusive and a sideline to sideline type guy, but the guys they want to hand the ball to are kind of downhill, stiff in the hip type runners.
Yeah, and I look at the difference between you and I last week, not you and I as in you and I
got
the whole ebony and ivory thing, but with Illinois this week. Fagan is a lot different as a big back than those two were last week. Those guys were heavy, good feet guys, behind the pads, run through. I don't get the sense with Caden Fagan that's kind of how he's kind of like a little back trapped in a big back's body. Illinois has done it by committee so far with the three. They've got the scat guy, they've got the home run threat, they've got the big guy. So their style, in terms of how they block it, isn't a lot like you and I's. I'm not going to call it cute, and I'm not going to call it finesse, but it isn't as in your kitchen as you think a Coach Bielema run game would be. So we'll see if they can get the physicality going, because they have to find a way to slow down Nebraska up front and take some of the pressure off that O-line.
And I think you can tell that by the formations in which they line up. I think that's the biggest difference of the Brett Bielema and Madison to the Brett Bielema and Champaign. Formationally, just it looks like a completely different team. And I certainly think the guys on the outside and what they have in Altmaier contribute to that as well. But tonight's game changer, Mekhi Bayer, and we'll see if 42 can help lead the Black Shirts to another good effort. I think you're going to see a good effort out of the Black Shirts tonight against Illinois at home to open conference play. We'll step aside. We'll wrap up the show coming up next.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air,
and Electrical.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
There's only a few minutes left before Mom gets home and Dad needs a win.
He's had a long day, Mac.
Ugh, he certainly has. Will this All-Star deliver dinner on time, or will Takeout take the title?
Oh, look. He's changing up formation. What's he up to?
There's a snap. He's heading to the fridge. Something's happening.
He's going for... I can't believe it.
Dad's got a bottle of Dorothy Lynch, and he's done it. The chicken, the salad, the veggies. He could go all the way.
Incredible flavor. Unbelievably easy. That's how you win with Dorothy Lynch. At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you.
Aw, thanks.
Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to age 2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Working together, Central Valley Ag unites with our farmers to feed a hungry planet. Enroll in CVA's Go Early Seed program and maximize your purchasing power with 1 year of 0% financing for seed and crop protection. Register for a chance to win Husker football tickets when you enroll in CVA's Go Early Seed program by October 18th. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Gary's Quick Steak is 100% sirloin and cooks from frozen in minutes.
Hi, my name is Gary Rower. I developed America's fastest cooking Philly steak from my 2 cheesesteak restaurant chains, one of which became a top 100 chain in the country. Faster means more great tasting meals in minutes. I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it. My Quick Steak can be found in stores near you or buy online.
Look for Gary's Quick Steak at your local grocery and club stores.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
You may have heard about Monolith, how right here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. How we'll soon be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. How we're investing hundreds of millions in multiple Nebraska facilities. You might have heard Monolith is changing the world. We're not. You are. Along with many other Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska made.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Back one final time on our Dakota Mac Husker Game Day show. Ben McLaughlin, Damon Benning have you for the next few minutes, and then we'll hand things off to countdown to kickoff. Time now for our SOS Weather Impact segment, brought to you by SOS Heating and Cooling. With fair prices, honest opinions, and longer warranties, they are the Omaha area's trustworthy company since 1950. But warm out there right now. Holy smokes, it was toasty walking into the studio this afternoon, but it'll cool off a little bit, heading to an 84-degree game time temp here at Memorial Stadium. So, as that sun sets, it should be a nice evening for football. Not quite to the old football weather that Damon Benning loves so much, but I feel like we're inching closer on the calendar. I think we missed it by like 3 or 4 days to really have
Yeah, next week is kind of my week, right?
That's
the high 40s, low 40s, high 60s. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a 3-1 fastball in the inside corner is what that
fall,
is right there.
Nothing screams fall like those temps.
Yep.
Let's go.
Love that. Weather should be perfect here tonight. Time now to move on to our ground game report, brought to you by Brandt Insurance. Make sure your ground game is up to speed with the Brandt high-speed disc for better field finish and fewer passes. We talked a lot of running backs earlier in the show. I think this is a situation that you would love to see in Nebraska's favor here tonight. I think if they get to the number that Damon's about to throw at you, you're going to love the result. And that's the thing. And you mentioned, I think you said the perfect line earlier. Run the ball when they want to. They want to dictate the things, not when they have to, or you feel like it's an obvious salt-away situation. If Illinois goes on a long drive, you want to be able to possess that ball and not put any more pressure on 15 shoulders.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think That's who Nebraska wants to start to be, and what better time to start that than in conference play against a team where we've heard this all week. Now, we'll see if it plays out that way, and by me asking that question rhetorically, I'm not so sure how physical Illinois is when it's all said and done. They talk as though they want to be physical. That hasn't necessarily been what I've seen so far. Now, will that start tonight? I don't think so when it comes to running the ball and stopping the run.
Certainly going to be a point of emphasis, I think, for both teams, and we're going to see who comes out on top in that area here in just about two hours or so. All right, Damon, we're going to finish up with our Prairie Valley keys to today's performance. One or two things you have your eye on here tonight. Nebraska is going to walk out of here 1-0 in league play.
And number one is what you just said, do the dictating. They run the ball when you want to run the ball, and, of course, stop the run. You don't let Illinois start to dictate what they want to do. They can get cute and intricate on defense. Don't do that. The other thing is, if I'm Nebraska, embrace the moment. 400 sellout Friday night. You're on Big Fox. Let it hang, right? Enjoy the moment. I think the atmosphere we saw. How early were folks trickling in here? I was beginning to think this was Colorado all over again, sans the vitriol. But the numbers are there. Be electric tonight and embrace the moment.
Yeah, embrace the moment, and you're going to have eyeballs on the TV tonight. It's Friday night. There's numbers next to both teams' names on the screen. It should be a big-time atmosphere here tonight, and I would expect nothing less for the 400th sellout of Memorial Stadium for Cornhusker football. DB, appreciate it. Good stuff. We'll see you up in the booth. Yeah. Get yourself locked in. It's going to be a good one.
Let's do it.
DB with us, and that puts a bow on our Dakota Mac Husker Game Day show. You're on the Huskers Radio Network. Big thanks to everybody that was a part of this one here today. Of course, Josh Hilkeman producing for us. Big thanks to Jessica Cootie for her work on our Cornhusker conversation. And, of course, game changer, Makai Bayer tonight. We'll have our eyes and ears on 42 as we begin that play with Illinois' offense and what they want to do up front. So Makai Bayer, our game changer, Huskers and Illini about 2 hours from now at Memorial Stadium. Sellout number 400 for Nebraska. As I mentioned, that's going to wrap us up. Coming up next, countdown to kickoff. Matt Coatney has us for the next hour. We'll go through some of the odds and ends ahead of Nebraska and Illinois. Interesting night as with Friday night with football, not a lot happening in terms of scores, so all the attention going to be on the Huskers tonight as they try to improve to 4-0 and 1-0 in league play. Big Ten football begins tonight. That's it for us. We're going to hand it over to Countdown to Kickoff. DB and I back with you next week against Purdue. First road game for the Huskers, but until then, enjoy the game tonight, folks. Go Big Red. We'll talk to you next week from West Lafayette.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also